Hello, my name is Sabrina Adkins, and I am on the Central Baptist Association Kids Camp team. And today in this video, I'd like to get you excited about what's coming up at Kids Camp 2023. In this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the three elements that we're going to have in our Bible study time and a couple of the things about our quiet time. And then I'm going to get you excited about how you can use thematic elements in your classroom and in your time at camp. All right, so let's get started. First and foremost, our camp theme this year is called Treasure. Treasure is our theme, and it's from the verse in Matthew 6:21 that says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart also be." We're going to talk a lot about treasure this week, and ultimately our goal is that the students will know and understand that Jesus is the true treasure. But in our Bible study time throughout the week, we are going to look at three elements that there is treasure to find in the past, treasure to find right now in the present, and treasure awaiting us in the future. On Tuesday, we're going to take a look at some scrolls from the prophecies and fulfillments from the Old Testament and the New Testament. I've created these little scrolls. There are 7 prophecies that they're going to look at and 7 fulfillments. They're going to take a look at those things, and they're going to see how Jesus came to be a man, born as a baby, lived as a man, performed some miracles here on earth, but also his greatest witness or testimony is that he sacrificed himself on our behalf, that he lived and he died and he rose again, ascended into heaven, and that he's promised that he will return. The students will take a really close look at what those prophecies look like in the Old Testament, how they were fulfilled in the New Testament, and discover the treasure found in the past. Then on Wednesday, we're going to look at some hieroglyphs. Sometimes archaeologists, they'll find these hieroglyphs or pictures, and they'll have to figure out what they mean. And so the students are going to look at 5 key pictures that describe the gospel story. And then with a little bit of an activity, they're going to take those 5 images that we've placed on milk caps. They're going to take these 5 images, and they're going to retell the gospel story using those images. They're going to retell the story with each other and in groups and in partners and in pairs. We are arming them with a tool that they can use in the future. But the important thing is they have discovered there is treasure to be found right now in the present. Today is the day of salvation. And we are hoping that some of the students capture this, not just merely as an academic way, but that the Lord of the harvest will touch their hearts. And then on Thursday, we are going to talk about the treasure found in the future. And of course, as believers, we have a promise of heaven in our future, but our future begins right now. Right now, we get to experience what God's plan is for our future. Before we are going to look on this day, we're going to look at a cipher and some codes. We're going to crack some codes to decide and to see what Jesus' final words were to his people before he left. He gave us some instructions of what we can do in the right now and in the future so that his word will be proclaimed and so that our lives would be forever changed. We will be blessed in the present while we wait for our future, and so that the future of other people would be forever changed because of the gospel of Jesus Christ. During this time, they'll look at some codes and crack some codes and see those final words of Jesus. And hopefully at the end of the week, they will learn that the true treasure is Jesus found in the past, Jesus found right now in the present, and Jesus is the treasure in our future. We may not understand all the details, but we are really excited to see what God has in store. All right, so those are the elements of the Bible study time. Just a little bit of an understanding of what's going on in our quiet time book. We're going to use some of that scientific method, some of those words that the students have learned in school. Little twist on it, though. We're going to talk about observation. We're going to talk about inference. We're going to talk about opinion and hypothesis. Of course, those are some science words. We're not going to be too academic or sciencey about these things, but we are going to talk about how we're going to observe some things in Scripture about the one true God, the creator of the whole world. And then they're going to infer some things about what God did by creating people and creating them, these students. We're going to help them to infer that if the God of the universe made all things and he made people too, that he desires to have a relationship. We're hoping that they will kind of come to an understanding about that. But then after making those observations and inferring a little bit of details in there, then there's some choices that need to be made. And so some of the choices that need to be made are to follow Jesus. Everyone has to make that choice for themselves based on the things they know and they can see, but also based on the things they don't know and don't see yet. And then that final Friday, they're going to make a hypothesis about what their future can look like, because they've learned about the past, the present, and the future. And they've observed some things, and they've inferred some things, and they've made some choices. And all the information and all the things that they've taken in at camp in this week, we're hoping that they can see that God has a plan for their life. And we might not know all the details, but we can have a hypothesis that says, my life's going to be pretty great. Not perfect. We're going to still have some struggles and some problems, but we can see that God has never left our side and that He promises to be with us going forward in the future. Remember that Jesus is the true treasure. If you'd like to watch my next video, I'm going to share a little bit about the artifacts that I have in my room and share a little bit about how you can take some of these elements and incorporate them into your classroom or into conversations at camp this week. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. I hope you have a great day. See you at camp.